Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Parshas Bahaltocha, Esaneres, in Chutz La'aretz, and Parshas Shalach in Eretz Yisrael. A quick word on Parshas Bahaltocha and Shalach together. So, in Bahaltocha and Eretz, we have the famous idea that we spoke about last week with the lighting of the menorah. And in Parshas Shalach, we learn about sending him the meraglim. We also learn about the pourings on the karbonis, the nesachim. To try to put the ideas together, the Rebbe explained in the Sicha that we learned together on Parshas Bahaltocha, the last year, Tafshin and Aleph, that the approach a person takes when one studies Torah is we start with the most simple explanation that's applicable and a lesson to everyone. And in the question at hand is, what's the word Bahaltocha mean? Bahaltocha comes from the word alois, to elevate, alei, and the traditional wording should have been lahadlik in eris, to light the eris. Bahaltocha means, so to say, to elevate the lights. And the job of a person is going to the simple pshat explanation of Rashi. Rashi says is to elevate the lights to such a way until they can be lit and stay lit on their own. And so to a person knows that the job that we have, both with ourselves and with others, is to be able to take the lights of the menorah and have them lit. Bahaltocha, elevate, means we don't just have movement, like we learned in this week's Haftarah of Mahalchim bein oimdim, someone who moves amongst the standing that we spoke about, but actually elevate in a movement of elevation. We grow every day upwards in our avodas Hashem. But when do we know that we're a flame that's been successfully lit? Is when it's oila, when it's Bahaltocha, when it's shalheves oila me'aleh, when it's a light that's moving and upward and sustainable on its own. We don't need any more someone standing there with a candle, with the fire to keep the flame lit. Even if the person or those influences that have inspired us are no longer standing with us, then we're able to stay lit, and not just in a way of being lit and giving off light, but also in a way of elevation. And that brings us to Parshat Shalach, where the meraglim, we know the Alter Rebbe talks about and speaks about in Chassidus, we're struggling with the idea of entering the land. I mean, they're ready to go and serve Hashem and to be to give themselves over to avoid this Hashem, but only in a space that was connected to Eretz Yisrael, to Midbar. They didn't want to go and deal with the struggles of the land of Eretz Yisrael, and they wanted to be able to live in a bubble of security and a bubble of spirituality, and not have to go to the physical world. And to be a true menorah that's oila me'aleh, a light, is consistent in all situations. Even when we go into Eretz Yisrael, even when we go out to the world where we have challenges, we have struggles, we have things that are questioning our emunah and bitachon, our trust in God, and our absolute trust in the Yeshuas, the salvations of Hashem. We have to be a consistent light in every situation. And that brings us to the idea of the pourings. The pourings are the part of the karbonis that, although we elevate the animal, we take the liquids, the oils and the wines, and pour them downwards. And that's like a person who davens, says Shema, and doesn't put on tefillin. It's very nice to get spiritual, but that has to play out and express itself in practical of mitzvahs like tefillin, etc. Tefillin is a very general mitzvah that represents most of the mitzvahs. I want to wish everyone that going into these two great parshas, the outcome has to be a strong, sustainable flame, being able to walk on our own 2 feet, and not just to be a flame that's in a small space, but a flame that gives out light to the whole world until the great light of the Mashiach B'Karv Mamash. Good Shabbos, everyone.